The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Why don't you give people what you think happened this morning, your sentiments, your feeling? Tell them exactly what happened. I told them 3 times already.
Well, and I don't want to disagree with anything you said. This would be my perceptions. We met beforehand, the constituents, and you, of course, Mike, representing Obama. You know, where's Obama's birth certificate? And you had a photographer there. And we arrived at the congressman's office, and we waited briefly for him, and he came out and got us and took us into his private office, and we had a private meeting with him there for about an hour. So he gave us an hour of his time, which I think is definitely significant for this. And you presented the sheriff's kit to him. I presented him a second copy of a letter I wrote to him a few weeks ago, which outlined why basically the same reason we were there is that we wanted to bring his attention to Obama's forged documents. And Congressman Dent listened attentively, but he did, throw up the typical responses you kind of see in in various congressmen's letters, which they're getting out of the CRS memos. What about those birth announcements in the newspaper? If this is a forged birth certificate, why didn't McCain bring it up? And I immediately said, well, the forged birth certificate wasn't out when McCain was running. Do you remember those kind of dialogues back and forth? And then we also mentioned that we wanted, if he knew Congressman Stockman, and he said he didn't know of him, but he was a new congressman. And I did notice that he perked up once we showed him the forged selective service draft registration card. I think that was kind of new to him, that was being charged. I think he knew a lot more about the forged birth certificate issue than he kind of wanted to let on to us. Did you get that opinion, Mike?
Yes, and I did mention that he was very interested in the forged selective service card. That
was kind of new to him.
Video.
That was kind of new to him, and that really perked him up, And let's see. Then at some point, you asked him for permission to make the conference call, and got Detective Zool on the phone, and Mike started to present information to the congressman, and he was listening very attentively and asked some questions. I would say overall, first meeting, this went better than I expected, given the length of time that he gave us, and the fact that he knew of Stockman, and that the selective service card issue really perked his curiosity, and that we made it very, very clear we were not going to argue about where Obama was born or not born. We said we don't know. But we do know the documents that he's presented are forged. And then at one point, somebody even brought up the stolen Social Security number, and I believe I said, well, that fits the MO of a person with forged ID documents. They got to steal a Social Security number. But anyway, I think he tried to give us a lot of the boilerplate answers that you get out of Congress, but I think we countered them all fairly well, and I'm not sure what exactly he will do when he gets back to Congress on this, but he certainly is a lot more informed than he was before that hour with us.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.